How to hire a virtual assistant, how to outsource, and how to delegate tasks. If you're a internet marketer of some kind, if you're doing any maybe affiliate marketing or whatever, then you know that these skills are needed in order to scale our business or simply move forward faster. And today we're gonna learn that with Brad. So if you're ready, vámonos.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
What's going on, bosses? Adrian Diaz here with Hasta La Vista Boss, the place where ambitious people like you and I, we talk about how to create a side hustle, make it profitable, quit our job, become our own boss. I hope that sounds good. Brad, welcome to Hasta La Vista Boss. How you doing?
Excellent. Thanks for having me, Adrian.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to have you on. I know that many of you know who Brad is, so he needs no introduction, but we gotta get into what he's doing a little bit as well, just to give him a little bit of background for those of you who doesn't know who he is. But before we do that, Brad, let me go to the chat quickly and welcome these awesome bosses here in the chat. We have Mark, we have Justin, we have Marty, Saitek, Jan, who else is here? Adrian, Chris, a Nomad Overseas, Dan. Welcome everybody. As you all know, if you have questions, drop them in there. And another cool thing that we do here is that I accept calls, so you can jump with me and Brad here on the call, and my girl in here. To ask you questions. So if you have a question, you know what to do. All right, Brad, let me come back to you. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what's your background.
Yeah, so basically, a lot of people who do know me in this space know me as Chief Operations Officer of Human Proof Designs. So where I was involved with a team there to help people get a start in affiliate marketing and really content publishing businesses. So so the reason I got involved with Human Proof Designs was because I had started going down a path of affiliate marketing income in 2015. I actually started with an e-commerce store that you could there's a plugin where you could import products from Amazon. And then when they would add them to their cart, and it functioned totally like e-commerce, but then when they hit checkout, it would bring them to Amazon, and they could check it on Amazon, then I'd get affiliate commissions. But yeah, so then kind of that site, I mean, I bought it on Fiverr for $100, and it made me $500 in the first 3-4 months because I just imported lots of products, and it actually ranked for keywords. And I was getting like free organic traffic. But then Google changed things, and it was all spun very poorly written descriptions from Amazon. So that site ended up getting penalized. And I didn't even know enough about SEO at that point to know that that's what was happening, right? But then I purchased a site from Human Proof Designs, and I ended up getting a job there. But yeah, and then basically all during that time, I grew that site from Human Proof Designs, ended up selling it for significantly more than I had paid for it. And in the meantime, spun up a few other projects. So basically, yeah, as a publisher, like my current business is 4 people. So I call him a project manager, but he mostly does like a content management role. And then I have 2 writers and one lady who does Pinterest.
Interesting.
And
There's one
yeah,
of the questions someone
that's
asked about Pinterest, but we're gonna come to some of those questions later on.
sure.
So I see there's Brandon wants to join us as well. Thanks for doing that, brother. So let me quickly jump into this topic. It's a topic that I know that many people here in the chat, even Chris, he said that as soon as I put this live stream on, he said he struggled with this and he wants to master this. Myself as well, Marty McLeod, as well many of you might know, he as well he's trying to build a team behind him with the writers, and there's so much frustration, there's so much bloody frustration with this topic. And where do we start, Brad? So let me put you context, right? So many of us here in the chat, we are in the trenches. Some of us, like Marty, he's the boss, and I have a surprise later on. I'm not gonna mention it yet with Chris, but we don't have a team. Actually, I'm not gonna say big team. We don't have anybody to help us. Maybe a writer or two, but we don't have anybody to help us. What's the first step to outsource, to hire a VA?
Yeah, so I didn't really know where to start either, and really like part of the thing that kind of I started learning about affiliate marketing right at the same time as I read the 4-Hour Work Week, and I don't really aspire to the 4-Hour Work Week because I would just lose I would just be severely bored, I think. But at any rate, that one kind of laid the foundation and groundwork in my mind for what's possible as far as like hiring far beyond like the traditional hiring like you do here, where maybe you give someone a part-time job, maybe you give someone a full-time job, but it's on site. But I found like I was still kind of spinning my wheels there, and until I read the book Virtual Freedom by Chris Ducker.
Okay.
And,
you know who mentioned that book as well? What's his name? Pat Flynn. He mentioned it a few times on his live stream. So I think it's a good book that I need to buy. Huh?
Yeah, those guys are super good buddies. And Chris, I stopped following him quite a long time ago because he's like building the business of you. So he helps people build a brand. So he'd be like the kind of guy that would have good training and tips for how to grow, like Hasta La Vista Boss, for example.
Awesome.
But for me, I was just like, I want a business that like runs completely without me on the side. But at any rate, he really nicely broke it down into the different types of roles you need to build like an online business, essentially, sort of like an online business centered on content, so not an e-commerce focus. And I mean, every person I've interviewed over the last 4 years, I've kind of went through his questions that he has in that book for how to hire and interview people. And yeah, he really helps me to put things into place and actually make it work. Yeah. So anyways, I would recommend reading that one for sure. And then I guess I can't remember the other part of your question, but it was like kind of where to get started with hiring people.
Yeah, what would you, of course, I think the first thing you would outsource is the writing part. Personally, I hate writing for many reasons. English is not my language. I just don't have time to do the research and write. So I hate doing that part, but it kind of makes sense. That would be the first thing for you to outsource. Um,
Yeah.
and I know Marty tried loads of these companies out there, and I'm sure many of you others here in the chat have tried. By the way, let me know which companies have you tried, and what was your experience in the chat. But yeah, is it writer or what would you outsource first?
Yeah, so yeah, that's a good one. So basically, like when I started, I had started with a brand new site with 8,000 words on it from Human Proof Designs, and then um, yeah, I knew right off the bat I wasn't going to be writing for it. Um, but I looked at it like I'm gonna just put some ads out and try to find a good writer because I knew I could get content for less money than I could through an agency. Well, I ended up finding decent writers, but what I discovered was now that I have this content stream and I don't even want to go in WordPress and do the formatting and all that stuff. So that's actually where I started because I was just like, um, I could I could do one or the other, and I was just like, um, if I hire an agency for content, at least I can be fairly sure that I have a point of contact and some accountability there. They're not going to go missing on me. So that's what I ended up doing for the first bit. I mean, I just used the Human Proof Designs writing team on their standard content level. And then, but what I did was I had worked with a Filipino guy as a writer. I'd hired him as a writer. And the content wasn't the
Good.
best. He's good, but it was clearly English as a second language. So, but he was the one writer I had who was perfect as far as deadlines. Like he was so conscientious. If he needed like a day off suddenly or whatever, he would just ping me, let me know when I had like I want 4,000 words a week or whatever it was. He would hit it every time and um, all that stuff. So I was just like, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone with work ethic that I can trust. So I said, what do you think about not writing for me, but coming on as like the person who formats all the content? And he was at first kind of like, no, I don't really want to do it. But I said, well, try it for a week and we'll see how it goes. And then essentially what I did was just I would just record my screen and I would collect a document from a writer, upload it to WordPress, I would set the slug and do all those things, build internal links, and then I would just share that video with him and he would watch it, and then I would give him an article and he would go for it, and then I would make another video and just critiquing the work, uh, constructive feedback, basically.
Mhm.
And then it took him probably 6 months
Wow.
to get to the point where I was really comfortable um, with what his work, and that sounds like a long time, and in a sense it is, but a lot of us who do our own publishing, we don't realize how much we know, and there's so much intangibles and stuff like that. Like for example, I would show how to do external linking, and then you would link to a competitor or something like that, and I would just be like,
Yeah.
well, try to avoid that type of stuff, or internal linking, just using the wrong anchor text or stuff like that.
True.
So
So, allow me to go quickly to the chat and read some of these awesome people here comments. Dan says that, hey, I haven't fired my boss yet, but I'm getting closer every day. That's what we like to hear. Well done. Let us know when that's ready. Chris says here that the Don't Stop song reminds me of the music in the 80s workout exercises that we were after Saturday morning cartoons. So yeah, that's what's put me in the mood, makes the blood pumping. Marty says thanks for the tip about the book, and as well, Marty says he's having some success now with writer access. Just recently ordered the order started coming in. John Dystra's uses a lot. So he's Marty saying that John Dystra is using writer access. So that's interesting to hear. Josh as well. How's it going, Josh? And Commit, welcome, guys. Can I just ask a favor? If you enjoy this content, can you give us a thumbs up? That would be awesome for the algorithm, like people say. So I don't see any questions yet. Marty's saying that he will see how that goes. And keep us posted, Marty. I know that it's very, very important to find good writers. Who's here in the chat with us? Brandon, do you have a question, brother? You can unmute yourself if you want.
No, just listening. Appreciate the info.
Awesome.
Hey,
thanks for being here, brother. And
did you want me to? What I did was I made a Trello board and kind of my process there. Did you want me to kind of go through that one?
Show it to us. Show us the secrets, Brad. Let me see if you can share the screen. Yeah, it's enabled, so you can share the screen.
Okay. All right. So you should be seeing blue Trello board.
Oh yes. Give me 1 sec. Let me put the screen in big. Where is this thing? There you go.
All right. Okay, so this is my basic process, and the other thing is I don't do any link building.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and basically it's not that I think links are bad or anything like that, but it's simply because what I'm doing is working. It's bringing in a steadily rising income, and for me, adding link building, so to hire a link builder or to hire someone whom I can train to be a good link builder,
Mm-hmm.
is quite a challenge. And I've had success hiring writers, and I have a couple of good agencies that I work with for content when I have like extra budget, like you get a Christmas bonus or you get your tax return or something and you want to kind of do a big content push. I have a couple of agencies that help me with the big pieces. And then I have other writers that help me with the regular day-to-day content.
Which agency, Brad? Which agency would you say was the best for you in your experience?
So I am going to say Human Proof Design's content.
Cool.
And yeah, people would expect me to say that, but I actually have data for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what my project manager does is every month we do a URL by URL analysis of cost. So what did we spend on that, and what did we make from that URL? And the interesting part is with Amazon, it's hard to track by URL, right? Unless you use like a specific tracking ID. So I don't get into that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at ad revenue, because that's what's easily trackable for me. There's a couple things with affiliate income where you can say, so say for example, you have an article about men's tennis shoes, and you see that, you sold 10 pairs of men's tennis shoes last month, and you can kind of deduce that was from that article.
Yeah.
But I don't even bother with that, because the bulk of my earnings comes from ad revenue.
Right.
And
right.
So like I say,
Which is interesting.
And so really it's just like, if I can measure my ad revenue on a URL by URL basis, I know exactly what I paid the writer to write that. So if I'm turning a profit with just ad revenue, then it's profitable with affiliate revenue as well. So So you could get more nitty gritty than I do, but for me, it's the 80-20. I don't want to be a bookkeeper or accountant. I don't want to do all that stuff.
Right.
And that's not where I get value in my business either.
Mm-hmm.
So I get value by hitting publish. So yeah, so that's why. So this is just a very simple setup for my process, and it just keeps everything off of email or even like tools like Slack and stuff like that. I use Slack to communicate with my project manager, but I use this board to communicate with everyone else. So I just have a column for writer 1, writer 2, and then the project manager will load new topics in there. So if there's only 4 topics in, he knows they go through, say, 3 articles a week. He knows he's a little bit ahead of them, and he just has to keep filling up their queue at the bottom, and they pick off the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when the writer clicks into that card, they're going to see an outline. And so the project manager, he also creates every outline. So I do all the keyword research myself because I like that.
Right.
And it helps me keep my head in the business, know what content is there. And I'll just know if it's something we've done before and stuff like that. So I keep the project manager loaded with keywords, and then he just goes through his daily work is to create outlines and polish the finished content. So he creates an outline, and so every time a writer gets a topic, they have the outline made for them, and they just need to follow that, put it in WordPress, and then put the meat on the bones, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're done, they will just, sorry, this is actually in that order. When they're done, they will just move it to content completed. And then I actually go in on this one and I set the URL and I publish it and I submit it to Google Search Console to request indexing.
Right.
And then once I'm done that, I move it over to the project manager.
Is it you who's doing all these movements from the article is moved from writer to content completed and then content manager, or is someone else who's taking care of this process
So
here?
everyone moves the card away from them as they finish a job.
Oh, okay. So you instructing them, hey, when you finish this, move it to the next section.
Yeah, and they will tag me. So both of the writers know when they're done, they tag the project manager and myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then they move it to content completed. So then when I get the tag or the email or the notification from Trello, then I go in there and I just do those 4 things really. I change the author, I set the URL so that, because the writers will just say it's like 7 fun parks in your city to bring your dog or whatever. Then if that's the title, then that will be the slug, right?
Exactly.
So I make it, parks in South London or whatever, right? So, right. So that's what I do. So just those 3 little things, and then I move it over to the content manager. He picks it up, and then, okay. Sorry, I'm missing one other column, but there's a, okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
I mean, but basically there's another completed column right in between here. So when he's done, he puts it in the content, or actually he will archive it. That's, yeah. So then he just hits archive, and then it disappears off his list.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah. So then his list is clean. He's up to date there. And then so he's basically cleaning out his column, and he's topping up these to stay ahead of the writers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then if there's issues with anything, he just moves it into on hold. Okay. So the other thing is that the writers do whenever they finish, they just come in here and then they'll just write like topic 1 completed. And then it'll be like 1,500 words or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then I pay them on the 15th of the month and the 1st of the month for the 2 weeks prior.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I come in here and it's payday, I can see, okay, this one needs to be paid for 1,500 words. So then when I send them payment, I'll just do paid below, right? So that way next time when they come in and they do topic 2, 1,500 words, then it has a break. So
I see. So this is like a history as well of.
exactly. There's
Okay.
also like a menu, like a history here too, so that you can go through everything.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's I mean, I just work well visually like that because I can
Mm-hmm.
see here, okay, like project manager needs to get some topics over to these guys or they're gonna dry out. Um, and my column basically here, if there's a card in there, I get in there and I publish that thing as fast as I can so it can start ranking.
Cool.
Right.
Cool.
So then
Sorry.
go ahead.
Go on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so then the next column is training library and templates. So for example, I would have a video about how to do smart internal linking. So my process for there. So I click in here and then there's a Google Drive link for how to do internal linking, external linking, all of that other stuff. And then I have outline like a card here for all my templates. So if you're doing a list post or a roundup or like a product review, or like the top 5 products in a niche or something like that, they all have slightly different article outline templates
Mm-hmm.
that then the project manager is going to go fill in with the right keywords and the right structure. And then the other thing is every card has this internal article finalization checklist. So every article, every article has a card and every card has this checklist. So that way all of the things get done. So as he builds the internal links, he's just checking these all off.
This is really cool.
Okay, so
Yeah. This is awesome. I like
right,
that.
and then that way, we can be sure that something got done. And if something doesn't get done, it gets put in the on hold, and then we can go figure out something for that. Like,
Okay.
for example, sometimes it's very hard to find a specific image for that article. Right, so we put our heads together and figure out a solution then.
That's awesome. Let me quickly go to the chat and see if there's any questions.
Sure.
Or any comments from the bosses in here. Chris says that checklist is really cool. Yeah, I really like that as well because it's helpful for both for us as the person who's gonna go in and check if the job is done properly, and for the person who's doing it because they have a simple way before sending it to us to go and check, okay, I did this in the H1, okay, I did this, I put the image, I put this. So it's really awesome. I like that. Let me see here. Where is this? Commit says, I struggle more with editors than with writers. More moving parts, affiliate links, formatting, adjust tone of the voice, internal links, adding images. I think they get overwhelmed and miss things. That's an awesome thing that you mentioned, Commit. I've learned. Let me see if I can grab my screen. But I not because I didn't prepare for this live hangout. Like I don't prepare for any because I don't have too much time. But I'm sure that Brad is gonna give us a tip here. But what I've learned from other people in the last year trying to, master this skill of outsourcing, organizing, delegating, and all that. I've learned that if you have a how do you call it, an SOP, you have to break it down by topics. Commit. So can I just rob you the screen for 1 sec, Brad?
Yes, absolutely.
It'll be just 1 sec so I can share with Commit how I have my SOP. So as you can see here, it's really like each one of these, it takes like, some of the tasks will take like 5 minutes, some of them will take 2 minutes, some will take 20 minutes, but it's breaking down by each one of little things like adding the editor's choice box. Let me see if I
Yeah.
have anything in here. So you just need to copy this text, go to the article, and paste it. That's all the job. So it's that simple. So I believe that's why they get overwhelmed, because we give them so many tasks that they, I don't know what to do, which one to do first. I don't know. I think that's why they
Yeah.
get overwhelmed. What do you have any suggestion on that, Brad?
Yeah, so what I've really found is that video is the thing that really makes it achievable for people. So
Yes.
yeah, definitely have those SOPs like you have. Your SOP, I mean, looks more developed than mine, honestly. So and I tend to do everything by video because and then I ask my project manager to make it into the written SOP.
That's so freaking smart, because I'm
Yeah,
losing a lot of time doing the written first, and then I pass it into video. So all those things that you've seen on text, I have them on video as well.
yeah. And the other thing is when you do that and you have someone else make the SOP off your video, then you look at the SOP and you can tweak it because and it shows that they've internalized. If they got the SOP bang on 100%, you know that they understand the process. So it's yeah, that's something I've done at Human Proof Designs too.
Awesome. Chris
I
says
make a lot of
here.
videos. So
Sorry, did I interrupt you?
no, it's all good.
Chris says here in the chat that when you get your content editor to insert affiliate links, what software are you using? AWP, Amalinks. What are you using?
That's a good one. So yeah, I actually don't use any of those plugins or any of those software anymore. And the reason is I've just been burned a couple times. So
Ah.
Easy Azon, the developer lost interest for a while. Um, and we were the casualties of that, right? And I mean, I had a site with 350 articles at the time and Easy Azon links everywhere in all of that. And then they at one point were not Amazon compliant. I don't know if they are now, but at any rate, they were not for a little while, and I got a little nervous about that. So I just swapped everything to SiteStripe from Amazon, and you can in an Amazon affiliate account you can just add users, and so I add my project manager, and he can go in there and make all the links he needs. The other big thing there is we never use short links. And the reason is if you ever need to swap tags or anything like that, you can't do it in an automated way if they're short links because it hides the affiliate tag. So there's always a technical way to do it, but I'm not a technical guy. I don't know developers who are affordable and can do that type of work for me. So I don't want to get in a situation where I rely on that. So I use the only Amazon links I ever do are through SiteStripe. And yeah, so
Marty says here the 80-20 rule for sure is a great way to put things in perspective. That's so true. I totally agree. SciTech says I'm currently reading the 4-hour work week, and it's a real eye opener with respect to the 80-20 rule. So you know that I have, like my Diggity said the other day, I have my Bible here with me. And Roger, how's it going, brother? Roger Young is here. Hey, Brad, thanks for sharing your tips with us. What do you call the person who do the upload and content formatting for you? Content manager or editor?
yeah, that's a good one. And yeah, so I did some thinking about this, and because Roger had asked earlier in the
Facebook group.
Facebook group or page, and yeah, so um, for me, like I basically just wanted it like I say, like the guy who's my project manager now was started as a writer for me, and I was just like, okay, this guy has a good work ethic, so anything I can give to him is what I'm going to do. So I think the way I would advertise that right now is really just you need someone who wants to be an assistant and who has posted stuff in WordPress before. Um, because like a front end developer is going to get really burnt out just uploading content over and over and formatting it. And really, the uploading of your content shouldn't be such a complicated process that you can't get someone who has a good work ethic and a good mind and who's willing to follow your SOPs. And if it's too complicated for that, then it's probably over engineered unless it's a very specific type of niche.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I would probably just put that in the job description. Looking for someone to content or to upload content in WordPress and follow SOPs to, um,
To do the job.
get to get the internal link,
Basically,
all
to
that, all
get
the
paid.
on-page SEO. Yes.
To get paid.
So
Um, Chris Tipton blogging for a future. Hello world. What's going on, boss? Thanks for being here. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Do you have anything you want to share with us from that structure that you have, Brad, or should we go to Facebook? We have some questions in there.
sure. I was basically done showing the board there. I have one more column where I do a monthly report for the team. So I just kind of just do a video screen share of me going through Ahrefs saying, this is the new keywords we added this month, and here's the chart, and this is where it was a month ago, just so they feel engaged, so they start
Okay.
understanding what they're working towards.
Yeah.
Because if their job is literally just make sure I have 3,000 words written by Friday for Brad, it's you're not growing your team, right?
Oh, that's
They're getting
awesome.
paid, and some people are just happy like that. But I want them to understand. I've even shot a video like of me just looking at page one of Google and saying, like, here's a keyword that we want to attack. Here's who's there now. Here's the outline, and this what we're trying to do is be the resource on the internet that can beat these 10 people here. We want at the top. And then when they can see that it actually happens and they start understanding the pieces around why that happens, then they can really take ownership and they can add things to it themselves as the writer. That if you just have someone writing, even if you have a good outline and stuff like that, they don't have that buy-in where I'm building something and maybe they don't need that. Lots of people are like that, but for me, I want to build an engaged team. I want these people to be working for me 5 years from now, 10 years from now as well, not just for the short term this month. So
That's
yeah,
really awesome. That's really awesome. There's a question here from Justin. Let me see, where is it? Justin, I can't find the question. He said, kind of off topic, but for the keyword research, are you going after tons of low competition keywords?
yeah. So my big site is quite authoritative. So
Mm.
I actually don't even really um, analyze them too much, honestly.
Wow.
So so because I can basically climb to the top, but for my brand new site, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm looking at it. Well, first of all, like let me finish that thought. But on my larger site that I publish stuff, it ranks in the top 40 positions of Google within 3 days of publishing, and then it just kind of keeps
Moves up.
climbing
Mm.
slower, faster. So, but on my brand new site, I call it brand new, but it's 8 months old now. That's my latest project. But in that one, I just looked for queries that I knew I could win, well, at least had a high likelihood of winning. And I didn't look at like keyword difficulty values or anything like that. I just literally just used Ahrefs to crunch a big list of related questions and stuff like that. And I did the Ahrefs content gap thing where you can plug in competitors.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did Quora, Reddit, and the other thing I would do is have my project manager find top 20 forums in this niche. And then I would just go through all those and mine them for everything that they're on page one for. And that was literally my whole strategy. If Quora or Reddit or a forum is on page one, I'm going to go for that keyword. and it's paid off surprisingly well. So I just had a $205 August. So off that site, and I've literally spent about 20 hours on it. I built a homepage because I like to do that myself, so it just looks decent. And then I did a whole bunch of keyword research. I made this spreadsheet, passed it off to my project manager, and then he takes it from there with the writers. And I hit publish every time an article comes through the pipe. But
let me ask you.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Before
No,
when you
go ahead.
finish, you've done, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you how much. I mean, if you can share this, of course. How much do you pay for each one of your positions? And if
Sure.
when you started with these awesome people, have you increased their salaries, or are you thinking to increase the salary? Because I've talked to other people and they say the first thing, I get someone that's very cheap. I train them a little bit, but as they get better at what they're doing, of course I want to increase their salary because I want to keep them. Otherwise they might go. What's your approach there?
Yeah, so that's a good one. And basically, like, I've only really started in the last 6 months with this team of 4. Basically, I just decided to go all in with it and stop using agencies to some extent. So I haven't given an increase to one of the writers since she started with me in basically March. But the way I look at it is she only does 3,000 words a week. So she's very faithful with that. But to me, it's just like, she's happy to work for that. And it's good value for everyone all around. But to me, 3,000 words a week isn't really enough commitment to my business in a sense that I'm going to like opt them into like a bonus plan and stuff like that. But my other writer, she does 6,000 words per week, and she's had one raise. It's probably a bit too big of a raise, but I don't know. Like, but I'm fine. Like, I pay $30 per 1,000 words. That's what I pay my writers. Okay, so
I hope my writers don't watch this video.
Yeah. So the one lady is Canadian. She does 3,000 words. So right now, with the Canadian dollar being what it is versus the US dollar, it's more like $40 a word or per 1,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
So which is okay. And like I say, like, she's happy to write for that. She does a good job. She's very faithful. And like I say, if there was a bit more of a commitment, like if someone was doing like a significant portion of their week, then yeah, I'd be looking at a raise. But she literally on a Friday night or Thursday night or whatever night it is that she has spare time, she sits down, she bashes out those 3,000 words and tags me in Trello. So to me, that's like
3,000 words.
Good.
That's what? That's $900 per week.
$90 a week.
$90 a week.
Yeah.
Oh yes, okay. So and then you have the other writer as well. Is the same price?
So yeah, she was at $25 per 1,000 words, and she just moved to 30.
Okay.
So that's what I say. Like, as a percentage, that's
yeah.
That's 20% jump. But which is fine. Like, I'm happy to pay that. Like, to me, $30 is very good price for for content, and especially the content I'm getting out of these ladies. And um, the other thing is like there's a bit of a wage arbitrage thing going on where they're not USA writers. So Canada is similar to USA, but I mean there's a 32% bonus right now
Mm-hmm.
because the US
Because
dollar
yeah,
is
the
stronger
difference.
to
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah.
So it makes it worth it for her. And if the dollar went the other way, I'd be talking to her and making sure she's okay. But the other lady is in Serbia,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, $30 goes a long way in
Oh
Serbia.
yes, definitely.
So
Is
I feel
she?
like yeah, I mean, I gave her, I feel like $30 is decent, but her English is like impeccable. Like
Okay.
it's like
Maybe
she's,
she's an expat or something.
that was what I was thinking, but she's like, no, no. And I always ask people when I'm hiring them if English isn't their first language, how do you learn English? Like, why is your English so good? But she just from watching movies, but clearly there's a natural gift in her as
That's
well,
awesome.
because I know lots of Serbians who just watch movies and their English isn't as polished and perfect as hers is.
Well, I'm not Serbian,
And
but that's how we learn languages in East Europe because we
yeah,
watch cartoons in English. We watch since you're a baby, you watch whatever you watch on TV. It's in the original language, subtitled. So you kind
right.
of learn as you grow. But yeah, that's awesome. And how about the editor, the
So my
manager?
project manager,
Yeah.
he makes $500 a month salary. He's in Philippines,
Okay.
and he's half time. So
So what's that? That's 20 more or less hours per month. Oh, sorry,
per week,
per
yeah,
week.
per week. That's right.
And another question: when you do this, do you do like team calls where you go all of you together? You go into a live session or
I haven't done that yet,
hmm.
and the reason for it is because the team is fairly new. It's like 6 7 months old. Um, but I do my monthly video reports and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then we talk about it a little bit, mostly chat. But the biggest reason for that is right now I have a full time job. I have a part time job because I'm transitioning into a new role, and I also volunteer on the side, and I I also have my publishing business. So um, it's
You
yeah
sound
at
like
this
me.
stage, yeah at this stage like the video is enough to maintain relationship and just the I mean it's every 2 3 4 days that they're pinging me in Trello to let me know they're done something. So we wish each other, you know, a happy weekend. And we have one thread in Trello where it's just like, I call it water cooler chat. So like we just moved to a new house. So I put pictures of the house build here periodically as it's going and stuff like that. Just build a little bit of rapport there. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of how I do that.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's very, very eye-opener, and I hope many of you in the chat bosses, by listening how much Brad is paying for his team, it's eye-opener because there's always this question: how much should I pay for this? How much should I pay for that? And I definitely don't pay that much money as Brad pay. Not because I wouldn't, if I had the budget, I would. But
Yeah,
uh, if you want to have decent content, decent to good, you have to pay some good money. I would say for the writers and for all your team basically.
yeah.
Chris says here in the chat, Cartoon Network for English and Rai Uno for Italian. That's how I learned. I've learned with Cartoon Network. I miss those days. Um, Saitek here. Saitek here says, where did you guys find your writers? Do you use a content writing company or service, or do you find freelancers with a job posting?
Yeah, good one. So I started talking about that because I was saying human proof design's content is what I use for my big content pushes. But there's another one as well. It's sonadigitalmedia.com. So I put it in
Yeah,
chat
I
in
did.
Zoom,
Let me just quickly
but
grab in
yeah,
here.
so that one he's been excellent. Like the Patrick is the owner's name there. He's taken very good care of me. So I, as much as I worked at Human Proof Designs, um, I still have my own content publishing business, and I basically I buy from other agencies as well, partially so I can learn. Is there anything Human Proof Designs has to learn from these other guys? But also just because sometimes the pipeline's full, and I kind of feel bad putting a personal order on top, even though I shouldn't. And but so I just spread my wings a little bit. I've tried out probably 10 or 12 different content services, and this one here is, I mean, he's excellent, extremely conscientious guy. And as soon as I find someone like that, I'm like, boom, we're doing business together. And so I do right now. He's doing 2 articles a week for me,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't that much, but I'm a little tapped out budget wise because I have like the 4 people, and now him as well. He did the vast majority of the content for that new site that I said just made $200 in August. He did the vast majority of the content for that one. And that content, and as I was saying before, is I do a URL by URL tracking. So how much does this URL make me? And his service, like the content is ranking higher than content from other agencies
Do you
on a
think it's
brand new
because?
site.
Do you think?
So
Sorry to interrupt you there, Brad. Do you think that the content is ranking better because they doing any they doing SEO content? Do you think do you think they use any tools to do that, or just because
no,
it's good
it's
content?
well researched. It's
Okay.
well researched and thought out. And he's an experienced publisher himself.
Mm-hmm.
He has a large site that he shared with me. Um, and I just looked at that and I was just like, if you can do that for me, then we're in business,
That's
right?
awesome. I have to
Um,
check them out as well then.
yeah, I would highly recommend. Like, he has my highest recommendation, honestly.
Awesome.
And the content from Human Proof Designs performed the best of all the other agencies, and then my writer was like actually a titch better than Human Proof Designs. So, which, yeah.
Which
So
and actually, someone here asked, Justin asked, do you think that HPD writers write good copy for converting people on affiliate offers?
I wouldn't say that's a strength there. Um, it's honestly, I've been out of it a little bit, so
But I think
I
it's
would,
hard
yeah,
anyway, Brad, to write good content, good copy that's kind of persuasive, and because that requires some copyright skills.
exactly,
It's not like go out there and find top 10 best places to have dinner in London, where you just go and find 10
yeah,
restaurants. There you have to be a little bit more persuasive. You need to know how to use the words and all that. And I think that's where you need to pay shitloads of money.
yeah, and that's why, like, honestly, I've stayed away a little bit from that because I don't want a business that depends on copywriting because, like you say, copywriters are expensive, and I find it a little bit hard to hire for. And I think probably the biggest thing people go wrong with or get frustrated with is expecting copywriting when they're
I think
just
so.
getting
I think so.
writing.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that's probably the why most people they're gonna get frustrated when they go on Upwork or anywhere, and they want the roundup reviews, and the content comes back as fluff. Or I think what would you expect?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, it's very expensive. At least in my vision, I mean, what I've read, what I read in in the last years, copyright people charge stupid amounts of money for copywriting. It's stupid.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And it's usually worth it.
Yeah, yeah, for
Like
sure.
Ahrefs just redid their homepage and it costs like something exorbitant, but I mean, I'm sure it boosted their bottom line. But I guess the other thing I was going to say, as far as where to look for writers,
Mm-hmm.
I have had good success on Upwork, but basically just test is the name of the game there,
That's it.
and just in bulk, like right. So like for me, it's just like give give them the exact same keyword, the exact same outline, so you're comparing apples to apples.
Okay.
If you and I was always cheaping out at the beginning, and I was just like, I'll give keyword one to this one, keyword two to this one, keyword three, and then it ends up still being a waste because if the writer isn't good, you're not going to put that article on your site anyway. So here I'm just like, at least this way it takes all the mystery out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is this article better? Which article of these five on the exact same keyword with the exact same outline is the best? That's the writer I'm going to work with, provided they check all the other boxes of timely commitment and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Just Samson, how's it going, brother? Look at this. It's full of fat, but you know. How you doing, brother? Just Samson is from a friend from Pat Flynn Hangouts. Thanks for checking in, brother. Cytec says, excellent info, Brad. Thanks, many thanks. A nomad overseas. Loads of excellent info in this stream. Thanks for the guidance. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for your questions. Brad, should we go a little bit to Facebook because we are almost 1 hour here, and I want to get to the questions in Facebook as well
Sure.
that we asked here on the Hasta la Vista Boss Facebook group. And here's one from Carl Scheffer. Carl says, my question is sort of newbie related, but what kind of budget should one allocate towards hiring outsourcing tasks? Which kind of we touch a little bit.
Yeah.
So how much do you spend based on the team right now? How much do you spend per week, Brad? Do you know how much do you spend per week?
I do it by month, and I basically
by month.
spend $2,250 per month, so $2,250 per month.
How
So
much?
that gets me my four people. That gets me my email software, the place like where I like Kartra, where I upload
How
the
much?
info products that
Yeah.
we create and stuff like that.
How much content does that get you per month?
So that's $500 for my project manager's salary,
Yeah.
and then that gets me 6,000 words per week from my Serbian writer,
So per week.
and 3,000 per week.
So that's 24,
Basically,
2,400. 20, oh, that's a lot of.
48,000 words per month.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah, but there's also tools in there and other things. So
That's
and also the Pinterest lady as well.
that's great there. Another one from Carl. What is the best way to organize and keep records of all the outsourcing? What software or templates? Do you have, by the way, do you have any templates that you could share with the community, Brad?
I didn't quite get time to make that before, but honestly, it's as simple as a spreadsheet that has, the months on the side, and then it'll be like, this is my Mediavine income, this is my Azoic income, this is my Amazon income, and every month at the end of the month, I go in there, I drop the numbers in, and then I do the same thing for expenses. So, like Active Campaign or Kartra, and so my writers, my project manager, my Pinterests, and then any software that I might have as well. So like stuff like Short Pixel for image compression. That's a monthly charge. I do $5 a month with them, right? And so everything down, and then you just plug in your formulas. And the thing is, like, you can get QuickBooks or all those big programs, but I just stay away from that because I don't want a business that's so complicated that I need to have that in order to make sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle it all in one spreadsheet that fits on one screen. I see my income was this, my expenses were that, my profit is this, and yeah, that's good. So
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Mike Suski is in the chat. Yo, what's going on, boss? Mike Suski, if you don't know him, he's the co-creator of Surfer SEO tool. I'm sure you heard of that tool, if not about Michael. How's it
yes,
going, brother?
absolutely.
Jan, he didn't say I don't think he have a question, but Jan, he's doing a very good job with his team. I know that. Let me see if there's any more questions here. Can Brad Roger? Can Brad share any good tips on how to screen good website builders or any VAs that work on front end of WordPress? And then you kind of guys you went here back and forth a little bit.
I just clarified a little bit
Yeah.
with him, but basically on that, like to see exactly what he meant. But that's basically what I call my project manager, what he does. And yeah, I guess the tip there is really just do it yourself. Record your screen as you're doing it, and make sure that he writes the SOP out of that. And really, what I'm looking for there is just someone who has a little bit of WordPress experience. I don't want a front end developer because while they could do amazing things for things like site speed or whatever, those to me are one-off tasks that I don't want to have that expertise on my team because they're going to get disengaged because I don't have enough work. Like I have 2 sites right now.
Mm-hmm.
I sold everything else, so I can focus in on these 2, and so they're going to lose interest if you get someone that's overqualified for the task. So you need someone who's looking for almost even a data entry, but with a little bit of experience with WordPress. So I guess the other part of Roger's question there is where to look besides online jobs. And the place I've had good success. I've hired my Serbian writer through is jobrack.eu. So
I need to get that. I'll put that into the notes show because I'm trying to find the other questions that I have here for you.
okay.
But yeah, so
Sure.
that's another place. Before, I mean, I'm gonna scroll to see if I find this question in here. There's a question from SciTech. Do the writers on Upwork write a test article for free? From my experience, I don't know if you had experience with this, Brad, but from my experience, you can post a job that you want a test article. So they're gonna write for you, but that you're not gonna pay for that. I'm not 100% sure if that's true, or you're gonna pay after you choose that person. I guess I can't remember. What's the latest with that, Brad? Do you know?
Yeah, my perspective on that is I never want to ask anyone to do something for free. I don't want to be that kind of employer.
Mm-hmm.
So I also don't want to be the kind of employer that pays people for junk. So, but I would rather pay someone for junk one time and then do the other. So basically, the way I do it is, for me, it's a paid test because at the end of the day, I want people to be compensated for their time. So even though, like I say, if I'm testing 4 writers, I'm going to give them each exact same article. 3 of those are going to be garbage because I can't put the same article 4 times on my properties, right? So
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is the cost of hiring. And it's a one-time thing. And you learn a lot when you test. I think the cost of not testing is higher than the dollars out. And right. And it burns a little bit. It still does. But what I've found is like even when you're hiring someone for a very like for a task and you give them a simple task. So first of all, when you're hiring, are they responsive? Are they friendly to talk to? Are like they're going to be nervous if you ask them to jump into an interview. Like they just are, and usually I am a little bit too or whatever, and they don't notice that. So, but um, but basically, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I was going to say like if do you connect with the person, right? And you don't want someone that seems a little bit scared or not super talkative or whatever, right? Like that to me is like I need to feel like, hey, I could be friends with this person, because I do plan on being friends with them as coworkers for the next foreseeable future, right? So even just something little like asking them to do something like uh, when I first started hiring like an assistant, I would ask them, well, can you set up a timesheet in Excel? And then like so they keep track of their hours, and I would pay them hourly. And well, the one person of two creates a spreadsheet, Google Sheets, and puts on top hours, and everything else was blank, right? The next person went and made it so it's like days of the week with the actual dates, August 21, August 22, August 20, and then had formulas so that they punch in their start time, they punch in their finish time. And it was just like, even in that task alone, it just showed me who's going to take initiative on this task and who's just like sort of just looking for a lazy way out. And so as soon as you give anyone a task of any sort, and the biggest thing is when you're hiring someone, you kind of get frustrated with the process and you want to just hire someone and try it and just go. And that's a mistake, is like moving too fast. And so if there's a red flag of any sort, it has to be a no. Otherwise you're going to bash your head against the wall and keep doing it. So like if I think about all the people I've hired, they were seamless. Like everything about them checked the boxes. I might have had some questions like, well, you never know until you're actually working with someone.
Yeah.
Will they blame other people, or will they just disappear for days on end and tell you after what happened, or are they proactive? Some of that stuff you can't know before. So there's always been questions. But there's never been questions like, well, their grammar was a bit weak in that area. We'll see. It's just if their grammar is weak and you have them as a writer, they're gone, because you can't have that, right? So it should be impeccable. But
Awesome.
yeah, that's a big thing. So
Awesome, Brad. I just want to mention, as you can see, I have the Hasta la Vista Boss podcast on the screen. I usually do these hangouts. I extract the audio and put him on the audio to, if you go shopping, if you can't watch, you can listen to this. So if you're going to listen to this on the podcast, it's good to come on the YouTube because there are a few parts of there where we share the screen and we talk about things that you can't see on the podcast, of course. 1 hour in 10 minutes, Brad. Can we get a couple of more questions?
Sure. Yeah, I'm good to go.
Cool. I have one here from Facebook, and this one is the last one from Facebook, and then a couple more here in the YouTube chat, and then we can go and eat something. Dan said, I'm not going to butcher your name, brother, here. I don't know how to pronounce that. So I'm just going to say Dan. he says, for me, I draw a blank in my mind when it comes to outsourcing social media. I have a good freelance writer that is good for what I need right now, but social media is something I don't really enjoy doing for business, and I'm not sure how outsourcing works. This can be for any social media, but my biggest interest is in Pinterest. So, as you mentioned at the beginning, you have someone that helps you with the Pinterest account. Can you
Yeah,
tell us a little bit more about that? Hopefully, it's going to be
sure.
helpful for Dan.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is like, I mean, I think sometimes wires get crossed when people are into different types of internet marketing. So, for example, drop shipping would be different than affiliate marketing and display ad income and like lead gen stuff and stuff like that, like you're doing with your Crane site, Adrian. Right. So, just make sure I'm talking to the right audience here. And in affiliate marketing, like social media can be fantastic. But for me, it's again, it's something it's complicated like link building. So I don't even touch it. I don't even worry about it. And I don't beat myself up that I'm not doing it either. Um, I fully agree that like building a brand is the way to go, and having user engagement in social media is awesome, all that stuff. But I'm not going to do it myself. And if I'm going to pay someone, I need to see a return on investment, at least at this stage. So to me, it's something down the road that I'm going to do. So when I say social media, that's like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. And to me, Pinterest is not social media. I put that under content still. It's another search engine. It's just visually oriented instead of word oriented like Google is. And for Pinterest, like I bought a couple courses and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I watched like 2 lessons and just really couldn't get into it. I had my project manager watch some of it, and it wasn't really his cup of tea either. And I'm not going to try to put a, a square peg into a round hole
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
the saying is, right? So I was just like, hey man, no worries. I'm not like a graphic design guy at all. Like Adrian, all your stuff with your brand is awesome and it's on point and stuff
Gracias.
like that. Like I love it. And I'm not that person to create that stuff. So for me with Pinterest, it was just like, to me, that's an agency hire because I can't create the SOPs for that. I'm not going to teach someone how to do keyword research, which graphics to do. I don't have that expertise myself. And I didn't have the affiliate marketing expertise and the on-page SEO expertise either, but I went and learned it because I knew I wanted to have that business model. But with Pinterest, I'm just like, for me right now, that's something I would hire an agency for. And again, like I don't have enough experience with it to counsel someone one way or the other. But for me, it's only something I'm doing because my property, my biggest property makes over $3,000 a month just from
Ooh,
ads. So I
nice.
have a bit of a budget to work with.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have that budget to work with, I would find it very, very hard to spend $500, $800 a month on Pinterest for say like a brand new site. And right now, like my new site that I talked about earlier, that's 8 months old and is doing well. Um, like like it's up and to the right all the time, and all that stuff. I don't have the guts or whatever you want to call it to spend that chunk of money on Pinterest because even though it is a search engine, I still feel like the shelf life is smaller than Google. Like I have articles that are 3 years old that bring in 30, $40 a month and faithfully have, right? So on Pinterest, I'm not certain you can get that. If I was, then I would start thinking about it a little differently. But
Mm-hmm.
in my experience, even with my very large established site that has great content and a great Pinterest person running it, it's I'm getting a return on my investment. I'm happy with it. but I wouldn't say like we're struggling. Like it went up and then it flatlined and it's holding. So I'm getting my money out of it. I'm getting more than the money I put out of it. But in my content side, I see it continually grow. Every month there's progress.
Right.
So to me, that's where I'm going to do it.
So would you say it's better to, I mean, if you, but Dan says he hates to do it. So I guess
Yeah.
by that means that he's kind of in your same shoes, that you're not good at it, so you just outsource it. Um, so I think that's what you probably have to do as well, Dan. Either put a VA through a training to do it for you, or just outsource it to an agency. I have a few friends, but they used to mention this like a year ago. I need to ask them if they still do it. If they still do it, I'll post it on Facebook, Dan, and maybe they can help you. But I need to ask first. So let me quickly go to the chat and take these two questions here, and then we can wrap this up, Brad. Jan says here, Brad, I'm wondering, your team is just working on new content. Do you do all other tasks? Do you have plans to outsource all tasks? And what about updating content?
Yeah, the updating content one, that's gonna be my next
Structure.
thing to tackle because I've done a little bit of it and seen pretty great results,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really have someone trained for it yet, and I don't really have enough experience myself to just blow through it. So for me, like everything is profitable right now doing what I'm doing. And it's really what I'm looking for is a low maintenance business. So I guess that's like, it's kind of the 80-20 thing. Like 20% of it gives me 80% of the results. I know I could double my income on the sites if I could increase my Pinterest budget, actually do like social media campaigns, because the one site has gathered a bit of a social media following. It's fairly significant, and if I did email marketing more actively to this large audience, like the one site gets 2,000 visitors a month from organic, or a day, I mean, 2,000 visits every day just from Google. And if I can capture them so I know I can do all these things, but for me, it's just like, if I worry about them too much, I'm going to end up getting nothing done and spinning my wheels. So what I'm really concentrated on, and that was my kind of 2020 epiphany, if you will, like that if I just focused on building a proper team to do the core, the bread and butter of the business, that's going to pay off, and the budget is going to come. And once I have like too much money to like sort of keep socking away in investments and stuff like that, then that's when I'm gonna, maybe consider scaling up Pinterest, maybe hiring someone to do a little bit of email marketing to this list that is slowly being built. But really, I think if the risk you run is worrying about these things too early and then burning out. Because there's too many moving parts to this business.
There's way too many, as I've discovered, and that's what many gurus out there, they're not gonna tell you. They're gonna tell you this is fucking easy, and it's not. Because there's so many things that you need to learn. There's many little pieces that put together you can make a making money machine, but it's gonna take you some time to learn all of those, especially if you want to scale. But you mentioned marketing, email marketing, and Commit has a question here in the chat for you, Brad. He says, he or she, I'm not 100% sure, please let me know if it's she or he. Can you talk a little bit about your email marketing strategy if you have one?
Basically, we did a little bit of email marketing, but we're pretty much going to turn that off because I had a great person working on it, but effectively, it's a challenging person to hire because even when you find the perfect person, or I just feel like I want to be able to give someone something like significant as far as like time wise, income wise, and it's very hard for someone to just dip in once a week and send an email out to your list, and that's about all I would want to do. So I just decided to just turn that off. Um, it's not because it's not making a return. It's just because right now I'm transitioning to a new job and I need just the peace of mind for it. But effectively, all it does is it's just an informational email, something that would be fun to read, not trying to sell anything. And then at the bottom of the email, it just has links to like some info products um, that
Yeah, I mean,
we make a decent chunk on. And every time an email goes out, we make a handful of sales and stuff like that, and then it trickles out for the next 2 3 days because people don't open the email right away. That's really what I'm doing. I'm not doing hard selling or anything like that. Um, but yeah, that's about it. I guess the other thing that we use email for is um, sometimes you can get in with like a private affiliate company, so like not Amazon, but just whatever it is. So say just use tennis as the niche. So say there's a company that has your work with them for tennis rackets, and they're doing like a Black Friday sale, and they're going to do 20% off. So then put an email and say, hey guys, found this great place, where they're doing a big Black Friday sale. So send out stuff like that. But yeah, to me, it's not critical, and it's not something I'm not going to write those emails. And yeah, so I stay away from it a little bit, not because that's necessarily a good business decision for like the bottom line and anything like that. It's just I need this is a side gig for me.
right, right,
So
right. Yeah, it needs it definitely needs you definitely need some time now to, like you're saying, you're moving to another projects now, so you need some time to reorganize yourself and then go full blast
yeah.
on this again. A question from Nomad Overseas says, question for Brad: which tier of pre-made sites from HPD would be best to use as a foundation? Just curious, as I was thinking to pick one in the future.
Okay. So I with that I would probably go for one of the ones that's already earning money, and and I would just make sure you do due diligence, throw it in SEMrush or Ahrefs, and just make sure it's not like declining keywords and traffic and stuff like that. It's either stable or rising. Make sure you get a good one that way. That to me is the best thing because, like I say, I don't do link building, so I want a business that is uber simple. I literally have to have content writers and just keep hitting publish, and then I have someone who takes care of Pinterest top to bottom. I don't get involved with it. I just pay the invoice at the end of the month, and I don't want to get involved because I have nothing to add there. All right, because they're the one with the skill. So yeah, so I would start with like the revenue generating sites, and if those, yeah, and basically the reason for that is those ones have content. Google's rewarding it with traffic if you've done your due diligence right, and that it's like up and to the right. Um, so at that stage, if Google's rewarding it, give Google more of what it already likes on your site. Just keep doing more content. And I always wanted to be in the place where I produce content, and then Google rewards me with traffic, and some of the other channels, trickle in a bit here and there. But in reality, that's what I'm looking for. So that's where I would start. Um,
Sweet, sweet. That's one thing I want to do in the future as well. I don't want to build one from scratch again. I want, because it just takes a little bit longer. And like Matt Diggity was saying the
yeah,
other day on the live hangout we had, he said he just prefers to buy something that has traffic or makes money already, in order
exactly.
to have those results faster, because he's paying his team to build the website, right, and build the content, build links and all that.
Yeah.
So he has expenses. So he wants faster results, of course. He
Yes,
doesn't want
exactly.
to pay like 50 grand now and has results maybe 1 year from now. So that would be one of the things that I would implement as well in the future, maybe some point at next year, if things goes well with my projects, of course. And um, HPD, of course, would be one of the places that I would go, because everybody knows HPD, and some of those sites, they're really cheap. They're not that expensive. um,
Yeah, and I mean, you can always ask for a discount, right?
oh yeah.
So
Hey, I could ask for a sponsorship. Wink, wink.
there you go, there you
Wink,
go.
wink.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, use your affiliate link.
That's it.
So
I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, Brad, because my missus in next door as well. Come quickly. We need to watch a movie or something. And before we go, if is there anything, guys, you wanna last comment in the chat? Let me know. Any last question for Brad? And Brad, is there anything that you would like to add for us? First of all, thanks for being here. I really, really appreciate taking the time and share your knowledge with us. I'm sure it was helpful. I'm personally gonna listen to it again, because there were some things in there I really want to absorb and put in practice in my
yeah.
own business. Um, is there any last, departing words?
No, I mean, just one of the biggest things with hiring is, a lot of people have a boss they don't care for, and then they proceed to hire a VA and sort of be the boss that they don't like, and do those things that the boss is doing to them that they don't like, and do the same thing to the VA. So, I mean, even I kind of alluded to it earlier, but when I test writers and 2 out of the 4 are no good, I pay them and I give them a 5-star review, and then I wash my hands of it. I'm not going to like cause friction. I'm not going to cause a fight about it. It's part of the cost of hiring. I'm not going to let that go on for months. Their one article was no good. Like I said, I'm going to pay them no arguments and give them a 5-star review and let them know that. I screenshot it and everything, and it keeps my reputation intact on the freelancer platforms. But it's just like, I'm not going to invest any further time and effort into this person at this stage because they're not the right fit for my company. So what's the point of haggling about $25-$30 when I can just be done with it? And then yeah, I mean, just be understanding, but don't get taken advantage of. People have to produce, and just be friendly, be kind, and
Be a good person,
that's yeah. I mean,
basically.
when I left the HBD team, every single person there sent me a thoughtful note, and really appreciated everything, all of our interactions and stuff like that. And that's how you want it to be. Um, we're all just people trying to do the best we can in life, and we're trying to build an affiliate marketing business, but for them, they're trying to build a writer's profile or whatever it is, and trying to provide for their family or put some extra money in the bank or whatever it is, right? So just really focus on that. They are people. Don't take them for granted. And probably one of the biggest tips just about that too is just like, if you tell someone you're going to give them a raise after X amount of time or something like that. Put it in your calendar, whatever it takes for you to remember that you said that, because if you forget, that might happen, but they will not forget that. No one will ever forget, hey, I told you were going to have, a bonus every 3 months, or you're going to have a raise after you've written 100,000 words for me, or whatever that is, right? So just keep to your word, and you should be fine. So
Awesome there. Thanks again, Brad. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for your questions. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being so awesome, bosses. And thanks for being here with me tonight. I'm thinking when I'm going to do the next live stream, and I think I need to do the how's it called, the income reports, which is awesome. I haven't even looked how much money I made. That's how important and busy I am. But no, I think we're gonna do this maybe Monday. I'm gonna try to do it Sunday, but Monday or something like that. And just remember, like I always like to say, stay focused, because we're going to get rid of that boss. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one. Bye.